Hey up everybody, Magpie Gaming here, and in this video we're going to take a look at a Q&A session that was done a few days ago. This was with Nikita, the founder of Battlestate Games, and I really like these Q&A sessions. There's quite a lot of them being done recently by the founders, or by the founder and other people at Escape from Tarkov. Give us a good look and insight into the inner workings of the development of this game, and I think it's really important, especially with Escape from Tarkov, to keep the gamers informed with everything that's going on. It's kind of disconcerting when not just Battlestate Games but any studio goes very quiet over games development, especially when you've put money into that game and you're wanting to see it progress and come along. When they go quiet, you're kind of thinking, well, have they just all pissed off on holiday in the Ferraris or what? So yeah, these question and answer sessions are really good and I like reading them. So I'm going to go through each question and answer and yeah, see what we found out. So the first question that we've got here is regarding the moving of the game over to the new version of Unity. Now, at the beginning of the year when the game went into what is essentially open beta, but they like to call it closed beta, but if you pay you get into it, so it's kind of like an open beta for me. But when they did that, they brought a roadmap out of everything that they wanted to do throughout the year, and one of those things was that they were going to be heavily invested in moving the current game from its current version of Unity over to the new version. They said that they would be working with Unity on that, as they do work with Unity anyway with some, things within the game, and the overall answer for this is that that isn't working out too well right now. So I'm going to read the answer. They say, we are actually not very active in that direction right now. We analyze the possibilities. New Unity can provide a lot of new interesting stuff which will help us to make our game better from many perspectives, from optimization to simplifying the game development, but we haven't made any major moves in that direction yet because our primary mission right now is patch 0.10. Our technical patch OBT is around the corner as well. We have to deal with all of that before we switch to the new version of Unity. So it's not that they aren't going to switch to the new version anymore, it's just that it's going to be a little bit longer than what they said it would be. So it's slightly disappointing because from an optimization point of view of the game, everybody is hoping that the new version of Unity will smooth things out. You've got the stutters, you've got the spawn lag, desync, things like that. People were hoping that the new version of Unity would kind of calm some of those things down. So for now, we're going to be stuck with it the way it is. But I mean, it's not an unplayable game, it's a very playable game. It's just minor niggles now and again that can affect gameplay. So yeah, it's going to happen, just not as soon as we thought. Next question up is it possible to make it so character skills are linked to character level? For example, on level 10 you can have maximum level 5 strength and that's it. So to reach strength level 51 you would need character level 100. There are already a suggestion to limit skill level by character level. It can be done, but currently we can't say it will be 100% do it. Not a yes and not a no. So they're basically saying that they're going to look at it. Right now it's a no, but maybe in the future they will do. Next one, and I really don't care for this, when can we expect the release of new EFT books? I ain't bothered about books, I'm here for the game. So you might be bothered about that. They say that they're looking to do new ones soon, blah blah blah. I ain't interested. Next question, judging by the water drinking animation you have shown, you take new animations very seriously. What other animations are planned and when? The answer to this is, as I have stated in my recent post, we plan to add using items animations, but not sure when it is, as it's a huge impactful feature which requires testing, adjusting and polishing. So it may be not included in the next patch, but generally speaking, everything that you can use in game, literally everything, will have its own animation. Even Vaseline and all the food, crackers, Tushonka, milk, basically everything. Some kind of madness we are digging ourselves into, but we will see what happens. So there is going to be animations for everything that you do within the game, whether this is eating crackers, drinking milk. There's I think the first aid animations are well underway, and I think they're some of the ones that we're going to see roughly first. I think there's obviously drinking water animation that's well underway too. Some people aren't too happy about these animations coming within the game. They say that they're going to detract from the game, they're going to slow the game down. But at the end of the day, if everybody is tied with the same brush, if everybody has to go through an animation to perform something, then the time stream within that raid is going to be exactly the same for everybody. Everybody's going to have to wait for the animation to finish, etc, etc. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. I think they do look pretty cool from the ones that I've seen. Whether or not they fit in a game, a tactical shooter game, yeah, it's a kind of realism. Sometimes too much realism can break a game. Will this break the game? No, I don't think it will. It might annoy some people, such as when they brought in the reloading animations and things like that for your reloading your magazines. Obviously reloading was slowed down a hell of a lot, but you know, everybody's dealing with it now and people have got used to it, so I think it'd be the same with the animations. Weapons in EFT consist of many pieces. Will weapons' overall durability be summarised out of its separate pieces' durability? The answer to that is yes, every weapon part will have its own separate durability, but that's in the future. Obviously that is something that's going to be a very in-depth feature. At the moment a weapon has overall durability, but in the future each part of the weapon will have its own durability. That's going very in-depth, maybe too in-depth for me I think, but people enjoy that kind of detail within Escape from Tarkov. That's one of the things that pulls people to this game, is the attention to detail, and I think something like that a lot of people will quite enjoy. So the next question, game currently has several traders in it. Do you plan to change how repairing gear works, linking not only quality of repair price to a trader but also a type of gear? Prapo repairs only guns, skier equipment, mechanic guns as well, but better quality and bigger price. Ragman equipment, but better quality and bigger price. And the answer to this is that they are modifying the repairing system, when we will have separate repairing of silencers and armor plates. In other words, when repair system will be more developed, maybe we will make something like you suggested, so every trader will repair single type of gear exclusively. But I think the answer to that right now is that things will just stay as they are. I don't think people have too much of an issue. Obviously, if you want something repaired better, you pay more for it. So there you go. Next one, will there be an ability to transfer items between players in-game, from hands to hands without dropping items on the ground? This will fasten and simplify player interaction a lot. It says that we have this planned in the future. This is connected to the interactions between players, healing another player, giving items to other players and so on. So I think this is more likely to, it will be implemented. Again, this is another animation that would be brought into the game. Right now, if you want to share something with somebody, your safest bet is to put it in a bag and then drop that bag on the floor and the person can retrieve it. And I say put it in a bag because sometimes you can drop things on the floor and they vanish. So if they're in a bag, you've got a better chance of them being found. But of course, it would be a lot better if you could have an animation between player and player, and interaction like that. I think that would be really good. Healing other players. Not heard of that one before, but that sounds pretty good. That'd be a useful addition. You know, instead of having to drop meds on the floor, you could use your meds to heal the other player. I think that would be a huge advantage within the game, and I'd really like to see that one implemented. The next question is about the flea market and asking what it will look like, and I'll put the answer on the screen, but I'm not going to go into it too much because I'm going to do a full video on the flea market separately. I didn't put it into my 0.10 preliminary patch notes video because I wanted to do a whole video on it. I think it's such a huge piece of the game that's, you know, it's very soon going to be dropped into the game that I think it warrants its own video. So you can see the answer on the screen there, but I'm going to do my own video towards this one. Next up, we've got, what challenges do you face during bug fixing? Which percentage of bug reports in the bug tracker is actually helpful? And they say there are a lot of bug reports and all the players sending them are good people. They provide a lot of information and it becomes much easier to fix a bug. Percentage of helpful reports is very high, about 30%. The hardest thing while trying to fix a bug is that sometimes to fix even insignificant issue, we have to rewrite half of the game, and it is very hard but important to do so it doesn't break other stuff. Also, when we haven't urgently fixed something, other priorities suffer. So they do say to keep reporting bugs, you can do this through the launcher. They say the more they get in, the better, the more things that they're made aware of then and they can fix. But obviously when you change one little bit of the game, another bit of the game can break. So it's trying to find a balance. Sometimes a bug might not be worth fixing because it could seriously hinder another part of the game. And like they say, the more bug fixes they have to do, the more that takes away from core development. But of course, it's all part and parcel of making a game. You're going to find bugs, and us as the players are the best ones out there to find them. And it's obviously the onus is on us to report those bugs to them. So if you ever do find a bug within the game, do report it, you know, whether that's through the game launcher. They prefer them through the game launcher, but also you can go on the official forum and do it there as well. Next question, is it possible to make it so during raid maximum health of each limb depletes with every heal, just like with armor right now? They say that's definitely a hardcore feature, which it would be. That would be something where you would fully heal a limb, but because it's been injured, it wouldn't heal all of the way. That is maybe too hardcore. I don't know. For me, that would be too hardcore. I just like to be able to heal back to, you know, 100% as long as your limb isn't broken. Obviously you can't heal back up properly then, but you know, to have limbs depleting heals, you know, depleting health on them, I don't know, that's really hardcore. But we'll leave that up to them. The next one is asking where the moss in the gun is, and they say that it is on its way. We have all animations, sounds, models ready. Only thing obstructing its release is unfinished code for loading a gun bullet by bullet, and a person responsible for code is currently busy on improving the network. We hope to include the moss in 0.10. Chances are very high. First we will introduce rifle itself, then add some very interesting modifications for it. And this is another one of those instances where somebody is taken away from creating something for the game because they're stuck doing something else. Obviously this guy is working on improving the network instead of bringing a new weapon into the game. I kinda don't mind that. I think I've said in a previous video that the amount of items and weapons in the game is spot on for me personally. You know, it might be different for everybody else, but then I can deal with what's in the game right now. There's plenty to be getting on with. You know, I'd rather them improve the network stability first, but the moss in the gun is a very, very nice gun, and it will be a nice addition to the game. Next up, selling and buying stuff takes a lot of time currently. Will there be any kind of system allowing buy gear via some kind of preset? And they say yes, we plan to improve it. We understand that buying all the gear and preparing for a raid is slow and a tough process. That takes a lot of time, so we plan to introduce presets of weapons and gear that you can buy. And I've said this with my squad before, that 50% if not more of this game is inventory management. It is getting your ammunition ready, getting your magazines ready, getting your weapon ready, modifying it. It does take a lot of time. You spend a lot of time in your stash and with the traders, almost as much as you do sometimes with actually playing the game. So it would be good if they could simplify that process and speed it up a little bit so that we can play more of the game. Next question, what happened to double barrel shotgun? We saw it a long time ago and is still not in the game. Said it's the same situation with that gun as it is with the moss in. Models and sounds are ready. We are finishing animations and loading bullet by bullet mechanic. It is not quite done yet, but it will be on its way. Whether that makes it in 0.10, I don't know, we'll see. But a double barrel shotgun would be a nice addition. Any bullpups planned? Yes, we are not sure which ones will make it to the game. Most likely DT, MDR, the DSR-1 and the Groza. Very nice weapons. I would look forward to seeing those in the game. Will there be a 5.7x28 caliber? Yes, we will have 5x7 pistol, P90 for sure. Will EFT be presented on Gamescom this year? And they say that they're going to pass on it this year, said that they've been there before, but because of them working on the things that they're working on, they're not going to go to the show because it would detract too much. I've read this in another post. They say that they just simply haven't got the time to do the development of the game and go to these shows as well. So obviously there's lots of people bought into this game. It's doing amazingly well. It's very popular, so I don't think they feel the need to go and advertise it on that kind of stage. Is there any optimizations planned for the sound engine? If you mean enhancing directional sound, then yes, absolutely. Many stuff related to sound is not final yet, and after switching over to the new Unity version, we will improve it. So again, we've got to wait for new Unity for that. Sounds within the game sometimes are, how do I put it, fucking awful. The grass and the rain is too loud. Sometimes it's hard to tell what direction people are coming from. Overall, it's usually pretty good. It's just now and again it lets itself down, but you know, it's a beta. What do you expect? When will we see the flea market and auction? First iteration of flea market is planned for 0.10, as already has been spoken about, and it will be a fully functional rag fair, but with some restrictions at first. So they're going to have to restrict it to begin with. You're going to have to see how it works and how it goes, but then overall it'll go full blown. Probably maybe by the next patch after 0.10. We'll have to wait and see. When will we see more Western weapons such as SCAR and the Heckler & Koch 416? Both SCAR and HK 416 will be in the game. HK 416 is already modelled, attachments for it modelled, SCAR is currently in development, and I remember seeing a post not long ago to say that they'd secured some licensing deal with Heckler & Koch so that they could put some of their weapons into the game. Hugely looking forward to those. There'll be some good additions to the game, and like I say, more Western weapons. It's primarily a Eastern European game. It's got a lot of Eastern European weapons. Of course, it's made in, it's developed in Russia, so it's going to have that kind of Russian element and kind of theme to it. But if it wants to appeal to a bigger audience, it needs to have Western weapons in. That's just kind of how it goes. We're all used to seeing Western weapons in games, and a lot of people want to see them in Escape of Tarkov, and we're going to get some. When can we expect clothes? The bottom and top customization you promised long ago. This is a cosmetic feature. We would like to finish it faster as well, but if we would choose between more content or more fixes, we would definitely choose fixes. Although we have already finished a lot of tops and bottoms, so most likely we will add customization in 2 patches. In other words, you will be able to buy new torso clothing and new leg clothing so your character can look more badass. This is something that it's good. It's good to have individuality within the game. Currently, there's not a lot to differentiate your character from the next character. Obviously, you've got Yusek and Bear, which look a little bit different, but on the battlefield, it's hard to differentiate sometimes, so it would be nice to have a little bit more individuality built into the customization. Whether or not they do paid for cosmetics, I don't know. This wasn't asked, and I think it's a question that maybe should be asked. I have no issue with that. If it funds the development of the game further, then that's cool. Obviously, they've not tried it so far, which is kind of surprising for a game that's been around quite a while. Battlegrounds came around and started doing it almost instantly, so yeah, we'll see. Next question, when will we see new skills and will strength be reworked and rebalanced? Some of the new skills we are planning to implement with 0.10, but again we are currently focusing on fixes, not content. Strength will most likely be reworked. So again, concentrating on the fixes and not the content, so some of the content is going to suffer for a while. Obviously you see with some of the skills they're blacked out on this skills screen and they don't impact on the game, although the game does record them. So for now, I think that's going to stay the way it is. Do you plan to add some variety to Scav's behaviour, add some randomness like patrols, searching buildings, chatting with others, etc. We would very much like to add variety so they will look more like humans, but this will require more animations, but first we have to fix the main issues and then we will improve AI and AI bosses. Patrol animation are already done, so Scavs won't stick guns in each other's faces, but lowered weapons instead, but this requires more work still. So yeah, you can always complain about the Scavs within this game. They're either laser beam shotguns from 2 miles away, or they're really thick and they don't even see you. There doesn't seem to be much middle ground with that, but they are working on it. I think the Scav AI that surrounds the Scav boss, that's a little bit different from normal Scav behaviour. They do kind of work in a team, which is pretty cool. They will bounce grenades off walls to make sure that the grenade goes in the right direction. They can be tricky little buggers to fight against. So yeah, it's going to improve as time goes on, basically. Will you add HDR? HDR is in the game by default. We use HDR rendering pipeline for a long time already, but in general we plan to completely redo graphics, not soon, but we will take it to a new level. By the way, we found a lot of interesting people regarding this topic, so I am sure we will return to graphics later. Yeah, graphics within this game are sometimes bland, depending on the weather. But I had a break before 0.9 came out, played a lot of other games. When I came back to Tarkov, I realised just how good looking it is. It is a really well done game. And to say that they've got all of what they've got out of the Unity engine in this game is a feat in itself. But yeah, it would be nice to see some rework of the graphics, because I find that no matter what resolution I play on, no matter what settings I use, it really doesn't impact the frame rate that much. So it does need a rework, and that's going to come over time. Will there be an ability to climb walls and other obstacles? To add parkour, we will have to redesign all levels and locations, but we plan to introduce vaulting over small obstacles like fences or road rails, but I wouldn't want to introduce climbing a man-height wall. So yeah, vaulting mechanics is something that could be added. Jumping over certain hip height things is a bit awkward sometimes, so it would be better if there was a smoother animation for that, so I'm looking forward to that. Do you plan to expand key bindings? Some of the players are used to play using arrow keys and create their own key layouts in general. Yes, with 0.10 we plan to totally rework key binding. For example, it will be possible to set holding, double pressing, any kind of combinations, everything a player would like. So we are going to get full keybind control with 0.10. I think that will be very welcome. Do you plan a new design for insurance UI? Yes, we plan to create a special UI where you can see all of your insurance returns and retrieve it fast and simple. This is one of the so-called quality offline improvements and is currently a high priority for us. Not this patch perhaps, but the next after it. So yeah, when you do your insurance, you've got to scroll up. It would be a lot better if you could see all your insurances in one screen. That would be a big bonus, and you could pick and choose what you wanted from it. Sometimes your inventory is full, so you can't collect all your insurance at that time. So yeah, that'd be a bonus to have that reworked. Will player scavs have their own quests? Our scavenger concept includes procedurally generated of fast tasks out of context. This will be developed for scav boss gameplay or one of his bodyguards. You will be able to play as a boss or bodyguard, and then we will expand this on regular scavs as well. These will be simple tasks: find ammo, kill someone and take his gear, heal yourself, or just extract some everyday stuff. So yeah, you're going to be able to basically level up your scav character. That's pretty cool. But being able to play as a boss or bodyguard of the scav boss, that will be amazing. That will be really good. I'm wondering if that's just going to be random that you get to play that, or whether you get to choose when you go into a raid whether you want to be a scav boss or just a normal scav or a scav boss bodyguard. I'm hugely looking forward to that. I think I've played the scav against the scav boss a couple of times. Get some really good gear off them. It's a really good firefight. It's quite tricky, but being able to play as one would bring a whole new dynamic to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one a lot. Will there be face customization, hair, face, skin colour? EFT will offer you a choice of pre-made heads when starting a fresh account and after every wipe. Maybe EOD players will make an exclusive cool head. So yeah, you're going to get a certain level of character customization from the start, but obviously once you've chosen that, you won't be able to change it going on. You'll only be able to change it if you decide to wipe your account or when there's a patch update and your account's wiped. When will OBT start, and will it be open for everyone or only for some people? We're working on it. A lot depends on patch 0.10, which have to drastically improve technical status of the game in terms of performance and bugs. We understand that we delayed OBT already, but we only did it to improve quality. It is very important, especially in a game like Escape from Tarkov. OBT won't be open to everybody, it will be mildly open. Yes, understand as you want. Laughs. So yeah, an open beta, you could probably only let so many people in onto this game before it impacts server performance and things like that. It's got to be handled carefully. I think that's the overall message with that one. When can we expect LMGs? We will introduce LMG with a boss wielding it, but not soon. We haven't modelled it yet, and animations for LMGs are pretty complex. So that's going to be something that's added to the scav boss. They are going to wield an LMG, making them even harder to take down. But yeah, it's a long way off. They haven't started animations or modelling yet, so that one's maybe 3, 4, 5 patches away, maybe even next year. Will there be an ability to hold weapon on the left side for left-handed operators? Slight possibility. Main problem is that we would have to redo all animations specifically for left-handed operators. So it's an in-game thing. If you're a lefty in real life, but the gun is on the right in the game, I can't see that it makes a huge difference. Obviously having to rework every animation within the game would take away from other parts of development, so I think they will probably leave that one for now. Why won't you make a thread to gather ideas for quests from the community? Why not? And they've created one, so I will put the link to that in the description below so that you can check that out. Obviously quests are set by the game developers, but maybe the community could come up with some better ones, so we'll see what suggestions they come up with. What clan features will there be? Do not expect clan system anytime soon, because there have to be a lot more done before we make it. The system itself we plan to develop like this, it will be I can't say that word. Hierarchical. It'd be a hierarchy, right? There will be a clan leader, sales representative, deputy. Everyone will have his own field of responsibility. There will be clan stash where you can change gear. Maybe there will be clan quest system rating. Obviously, clanning up with people is something that's done in this game, but it's not hugely supported by the game itself. There's nothing around it to make you feel like you need to be in a clan to play the game. But yeah, eventually something will come along that supports those people that like to play in a clan. Extra wide monitor support, yes, sometime. So if you've got an extra wide monitor, you're going to get support for it at some point, but that is the sum total of the answer, yes, sometime. Do you plan to create a special tool for community so people could use game information outside the game, create their own resources? Yes, we plan to create a special API which will allow players to create their own weapon, stats, etc. tables. Doesn't say when though. Do you plan to add online modes to play with friends? We had a thought about creating peer-to-peer mode where you would play with friends against scavs without keeping gear. That's basically like playing the offline mode with a friend where you're just practicing. Be a nice little addition to the game. I think if you wanted to check new locations out, you'd be able to do that. Plan things for when you go into an actual raid. That would be a good little bonus to the game. Do you plan to make a mobile app to get your insurance? We will make an official companion app that will not only support chat, but do some stuff like get your insurance, reply to messages, trade, etc., but not anytime soon. That would be a good addition, especially with insurance. You need to log into the game, you're given a certain amount of time to get your insurance. If you can't get in, having a mobile app would really help, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Do you plan to restrict ping limits even more to avoid ping abuse? Maybe. So that's the answer to that question. Do you plan to make an ability to push players in melee fight? In the beginning we plan to make a kick a separate key. If you will manage to implement correctly ragdoll to knock off characters, then we will make such a thing. So yeah, melee fighting seemed like it's just going to stay the way it is for now. Will it be possible to camouflage a gun? Yes, we plan to add the ability to put on camouflage via simple patterns. I'm not too bothered about that. That's basically giving you gun skins. Probably put in some rudimentary ones. I'm not sure how much it would camouflage certain weapons. The vast majority of weapons within the game are dark, so they don't show up too well anyway. Probably the SKS, the wooden one, you know, that shows up a little bit. It'd be good to maybe get a skin for that, but that's about it. How do you plan to implement player hideout? We have two options we are considering, either more simplistic where items in stash would just be textures not representing what you actually have, or more complex items you have in your stash will be displayed visually in your hideout but not exact amount, that's for sure. So yeah, the hideout is something that's been planned for a while. It was on the roadmap for this year. Whether it's going to actually make it out this year, I'm not too sure right now. We're just going to have to wait and see on that one. And then there's a personal message from Nikita. He says, right now we have a lot of work to do. We have to accomplish many more, including things that are not in the game yet, including things that will greatly surprise you. Also, we understand that you, community, is very concerned about technical state of the game and we are working on it. Patch 0.10 is planned to release before the end of August. We want you to feel all the delights game has to offer and understand that this is not simply a game, but something more. We want you to see and love this game as we, the development team, see it. Thanks everyone for your time. So I think the overall message is, you know, we hear you, we're working on it. Give us a break, because people do really get on at the developers about this game. When you look at the Facebook posts and the Twitter feeds, people just don't let up on it. But it all takes time, unfortunately, and they're not a massive development team, they're quite small. Obviously, with some of the questions that we've gone through, either taking people from other departments to help with network issues and things like that, that slows overall game development down. So yeah, he's just saying, give us time, we'll get there. And that is the end of the question and answer session. I'm sorry it's been a really long video, but there was a lot to go through. But I think it's good to get it out to the community, to find out what's going on behind the scenes. I think it's good to keep us, you know, it keeps us interested, it keeps us in the loop, it keeps us in the know. And that's no bad thing, especially with a game that's as complex as Escape from Tarkov is. There was no word in that on new maps. Thought somebody might have asked about new maps, but those seem to be a little bit on the back burner right now. It's all about the technical side of the game, and I'm quite happy that they're sorting that out. If 0.10 comes out and gives us some of the fixes that we want, I'll be a very happy player. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching and listening. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.